S-227.
Senator Black.
Honourable Senators, I move that Bill S-227 be read a second time.
Senator Black, seconded by the Honourable Senator Griffin, that this bill be read a second time. On debate, Senator Black.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable colleagues, I rise today to speak to Bill S-227, the Food Day in Canada Act, which seeks to establish the Saturday of the August long weekend as Food Day in Canada. Firstly, I would like to thank my honourable colleague, the Honourable Diane Griffin, for tabling this bill on my behalf in the Senate last week. I've risen on a number of occasions to highlight the important role of our local farmers, producers and processors and the roles they play in ensuring Canadians have access to safe, nutritious and affordable foods. The Food Day in Canada Act represents an opportunity to celebrate those same farmers, producers and processors and to highlight and appreciate the diverse and nutritious food products that we all have access to. At the outset, I would like to pay tribute to a great advocate who many of my colleagues on the Agriculture and Forestry Committee will remember, Anita Stewart, the founder of Food Day Canada. Anita was a food activist, a cookbook author, and the first Canadian food laureate at the University of Guelph. She was a champion of local food and stories behind that food. Sadly, Anita passed away last year at the age of 73 after losing her battle with pancreatic cancer. While I have introduced the Food Day in Canada Act to establish a national day, the first Food Day Canada was born from Anita's concern for beef farmers during the 2003 bovine spongiform encephalopathy (BSE) crisis. That year, she organized what she called the world's longest barbecue, where she invited her network of friends, farmers, and chefs to share their recipes using Canadian beef. It evolved into what we know now as Food Day Canada, where Canadian food is promoted, celebrated, and shared across this country. I had the privilege of collaborating with Anita on a number of occasions and found her to be a staunch supporter of the Canadian agricultural industry. Her spirit and passion for Canadian cuisine from coast to coast to coast, and the people who grew, harvested, and cooked it was unrivaled. Anita was a trailblazer who made tremendous impact on the health and well-being of our Canadian food system. She will be missed by all who knew her, and her memory lives on in the legacy of her recipes, her family, and Food Day Canada. Her legacy of celebrating Canadian cuisine is part of the reason I have chosen to introduce this bill. She inspired me and many others with the way in which she loved Canadian ingredients, recipes, and dishes. I hope that by establishing Food Day in Canada, Canadians for generations to come will have the opportunity not only to learn about the many foods grown and produced in Canada, but also about Anita and the way she honored Canada through food. Today, Food Day Canada embodies a celebration of Canadian culture, cuisine, and ingredients. Farmers, chefs, and restaurateurs and organizations from coast to coast to coast honor this annual event each summer. While things weren't quite normal due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we still saw a huge outpouring of support for Food Day Canada this past summer. Chefs from leading establishments such as Jason Bangurter from Cambridge's Langdon House and Anthony Walsh of Oliver and Bonacini participated as friends of Food Day Canada. Restaurants big and small from across the country, including Le Champlain at the Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, Fauna, just a few blocks away from Parliament Hill on Bank Street here in Ottawa, Toronto's award-winning Canoe, the Yellow Door Bistro in Calgary, and Vancouver's Forage, all highlighted local cuisine in honor of Anita and Food Day Canada. Individuals also had the opportunity to sign the Food Day Canada pledge to shine a light on Canadian food and farming. I proudly took that pledge to cook and eat like a Canadian. In addition to many individuals supporting Food Day Canada by taking this pledge, 47 iconic landmarks across this country, including the Clock Tower in Charlottetown, the Elora Gorge near my home in Wellington County, Niagara Falls, the CN Tower, Halifax's City Hall, and Calgary Tower, were lit in Canada's red and white to honor our farmers, fishers, chefs, and home cooks. As many of you know, I've been involved in the agricultural arena for most of my life. I am proud that Canadian farmers are known to be the best among those who produce some of the safest, highest quality food that feeds not only our country, but the world. In fact, the Canadian agricultural sector is one of our nation's oldest industries. Today, agriculture and agri-food in Canada represents a multi-billion-dollar annual business and a vibrant network of farmers, their farm families, and workers, as well as many agricultural organizations. From coast to coast to coast, our agricultural community is busy producing top-quality food products. We are known worldwide for potatoes from Prince Edward Island, beef from Alberta, maple syrup from Quebec, peaches from Ontario, wine from British Columbia, and wheat from the prairies, among many other things. Canada is a leader in agriculture and will continue to be, with the right support. At this time, I must express that I was extremely disappointed again this year by the lack of attention to Canadian agriculture in last week's speech from the throne. The government frequently speaks about its commitment to agriculture, yet the sector never seems to make the cut into the top priorities. I'm incredibly disheartened to share that the term agriculture was not mentioned once or a single time in this year's speech. To me, this is unimaginable, given not only the importance of agriculture in the daily lives of each of us and all Canadians, but also the way in which food security and sovereignty have been highlighted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, agriculture is intrinsically connected to so many other areas that have been highlighted by the government as priorities, most notably their focus on the effects of climate change and the environment. Farmers are stewards of our land, and they must play a role in our fight against climate change. In fact, farmers often face the brunt of climate change, as Canadian agriculture suffers greatly from the effects. For example, the frequency of extreme weather events has doubled since the 1990s. There's been an increase in floods, drought, forest fires, and storms that unsurprisingly interfere with planting and harvest, which disproportionately affects farms of all sizes. We have seen over the past few weeks just how devastating the effects of extreme weather can be as floods ravage British Columbia's agricultural heartland, destroying lives and livelihoods. Time and again, I have highlighted the way in which farmers have risen to the challenge of addressing climate change. Many have already introduced greener methods of farming. However, they are rarely acknowledged for doing so or supported in any way. Canada's agricultural community knows that they have a critical role to play in preserving ecosystems and resources, as well as in minimizing the environmental impacts of their activities through the implementation of beneficial agricultural practices. In order to be truly successful in their fight against climate change, Canadian agricultural producers and food processors will need the government's support in transitioning their operations to be more sustainable, and they will also require the government and public support while they seek to change decades-long practices and procedures. It is clear that agriculture plays a major role in Canada. And in spite of facing unimaginable challenges over the past few years, from issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic to widespread destruction by extreme weather, our farmers, producers, and processors have remained resilient. I am confident that this industry will continue to play an important role, especially in the post-pandemic economic recovery. The only thing they need now is our support. We can start showing this support here in this Red Chamber by establishing Food Day in Canada. As I've mentioned, Food Day in Canada calls attention to our agricultural industry and the pride we share in growing food. Canada is one of the largest producers and exporters of agricultural products in the world. From huge wheat fields and cattle ranches in Canada's prairies to field crop, dairy, fruit, and vegetable farms across the country, our farmers, producers, and processors have something for everyone. Over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen our nation come together in support of one another, including in support of Canadian-made food. I've been delighted to see the interest in learning where, how, and who grows our food skyrocket in the past months. I am confident that if we choose to establish Food Day in Canada, Canadians from all walks of life will have the opportunity to learn more about the bountiful foods that grow in our soils and the many types of livestock that are raised on our farms. This day will give Canadians, young and old, an opportunity to thank the farmers who put the food on our tables each and every day. Honourable colleagues, Food Day in Canada is a national event for all Canadians to join together in celebration of our food and the people who make it happen, from farms to our forks. I'm hopeful that this speech is just the first step in establishing a national celebration of our agricultural community. This past summer, I found myself in Ottawa over the August long weekend, and I took the opportunity to celebrate Food Day Canada that Saturday evening by visiting restaurants that showcased local ingredients. That said, how you celebrate Food Day in Canada every summer is up to you. Visit a local restaurant, create your own mouth-watering moments, or get inspired with some delicious Canadian ingredients. Just make sure to have fun and show your pride for the local Canadian food that we enjoy. Honourable colleagues, you know that I am and always will be an advocate. Agriculture is what I know best and will remain the primary focus for as long as I serve Canadians in the Red Chamber. I know that this day was always Anita's dream, and to have a national day established. She worked tirelessly over the course of her life to highlight not only the wonderful food and ingredients that are grown in Canada, but also the farmers, producers, and processors responsible for it. I hope you will take this opportunity to recognize the hard work of our agricultural community by establishing and celebrating Food Day in Canada with me. And I hope that we can send Bill S-227 to the Agriculture and Forestry Committee for further review, and then pass it on into the other chamber in quick fashion. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Senator Martin. Sorry, Senator Daskal, do you have a question?
Senator, take a question.
Sorry, Senator Martin.
Senator, thank you for your presentation. And I have a question. One of the great Canadian foods is, of course, grapes. And grapes, of course, turn into wine. And we in Ontario have the greatest wines in the entire country. I know the British Columbians think they have the greatest wines, but we have the greatest wines here in Ontario. Now, and others think they have a wine industry too, but we'll put that aside for a moment. Does the Food Day that you propose include a celebration of wine, or is that a separate day that you might be contemplating to celebrate the great wines of Canada? Thank you.
Senator Black.
Well, thank you for your question. I celebrate wine every day, actually. But this is local Canadian food, and grapes are part of the Canadian cuisine. So absolutely, it's all-inclusive.
Senator Kuchar, a question?
Senator Black, take a question?
Yes.
Thank you. I will not comment on sour grapes. But I wonder if there's any way, with tremendous enthusiasm, and I share it, for Canadian food, if in a Canada Food Day we could encourage people not to waste food. Because when food goes into landfill, it turns into methane, which is about 20%, 20 times greater than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas. It's a huge problem with greenhouse gases. Is there any way of celebrating Canada's Food Day and making sure not to waste this wonderful, delicious food that we have?
Senator Black.
I think that's a tremendous opportunity, and the folks that are promoting Food Day Canada will absolutely take that on, I'm sure. I support them and what they're doing, and I will pass that on. I agree that the food wastage in this country is tremendous, and so I am following the circular food economy that's taking place now, and that's exciting to see what's happening in that realm as well. So thank you.
Senator Martin.
Yes, I should thank Senator Daskal for her mention of our wonderful BC wines, but I think Canada should be proud of our wine industry for sure. Thank you, Senator Black, and I will adjourn the debate at this time.
Senator Martin.